Our roots define our core identity, and that is how I want to introduce myself. My name is Lipsa Hembram, and I belong to the Santal tribe. I was born in a small town called Rairangpur in Mayurbhanj district. Like every parent, my parents also aspired to give me and my siblings the best of education, and that is why we moved to the city. Like every normal parent wanting the best for their children, my parents also wanted me to follow the norm and pursue a regular prospective career after my 12th grade. It was either engineering or medical. So how did this tribal girl become a designer? How did she end up showcasing her cultured designs on national platforms? Now, as a child, designing and fashion has always been a natural calling to me. I always felt great joy in creating. All my peers were taking the secure route, and it was expected of me to do the same. But it would take me away from what was a strong calling for me. I would fear putting across the thought of pursuing fashion also to my parents because I could see that it was a career risk. I weighed in many things, the pros and cons of it. I even took a year off to give myself time to analyze my vision of my career. And during this break, a very pleasant episode happened that gave me the courage that I was seeking. It was something that was a turning point in my life that brought me into the career path. As most of us, I was also a confused kid who did not know if the career choice I was making would be best for me. At that juncture, I came across Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's Wings of Fire. Dr. Kalam had just the previous year been elected the President of India, and this book on his life's journey inspired me so much that I wanted to meet him. I chose him as my idol, and I wanted his advice on the career crossroads that I was standing. To my surprise, in September 2003, I came across a feature in Gokulam. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but Gokulam used to be a very popular kids magazine in those days. And in their Children's Day special edition, they invited questions as an exclusive and unique opportunity for young readers to send one question to none other than His Excellency, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the President of India. Now, this was a sign for me. And can you imagine my surprise and good fortune? I jumped at this opportunity and sent a postcard with my question, as I wanted his advice. I asked, should a person fulfill her own dreams or the expectations others have from her? And never had I expected that my idol would write back to me. He replies in the December issue. He says, fulfilling his or her own dreams has to be one's goal in life. One should do what one likes to do. Now, this was the sign, this was the validation that I needed. And from that day onwards, I have never looked back. I've always followed my passion. I did what I like to do the most. My passion was always fashion. I had recognized that fact very early, but Dr. Kalam's reply that day gave me the courage I was seeking to follow my passion. So I pitched the vision of my career to my parents, who were half convinced, but when they saw my NIFT entrance exam rank, they decided to give me a chance. They decided to support me. And they joined me in taking the risk together, which was a huge support system for me. And that's why here I am today in front of you sharing my journey. The only driving force behind your career choice should be your passion. It should not be any other person but yourself. Today, I am paying forward what Dr. Kalam did for me. I urge you to follow your passion. to have the courage to convert your dreams into your goal in life. When you are persistent, success is evident. But then you could question, what if your passion does not translate to financial security? Then ask yourself when to take a pause, when to move to plan B. On a side note, always have a plan B or even a plan C. But definitely keep exploring your opportunities. Find avenues to keep your passion alive and wait for the right time and situation to favor your passions. How many instances of success stories have we heard in the past few years? Stories of founders who have left their high-paying job or a corporate job to follow their passion, which is creative and innovative, and has transformed into a lucrative business. What my passion gave me was more than a successful business. It brought me closer to my roots. And now, my culture has also become my passion. I started looking at my culture through the lens of fashion study. It gave me a fresh perspective. It made me appreciative of my rich tribal cultural heritage. It was a win-win situation for me, especially my parents, because they were very proud of the fact that my chosen line of work, which once they were apprehensive about, is now helping preserve our traditional tribal culture. My body of work and my primary research entails tribal men's and women's clothing, Santal mural arts, tribal jewelries, and many other tribal crafts. When you follow your passion, the only natural course is to grow. The graph is always upwards. Today, I talk about the traditional Santal costume, the Jhalah, and its drape on different platforms. The Jhalah is the woman's saree from the Santal tribe. I try to keep the conversation alive around the costume by talking about its cultural history. I have experimented with different motifs, different yarns, and styles of the costume. I am aware of the modernization that is happening around me, but consciously, very consciously, I try to keep the design aesthetic very close to the roots, and that is the USP of my designs. On the face of it, any tribal costume looks very simple, but when I go deeper into this subject, it opens my mind creatively. Now I want to learn more, I want to explore more. My journey has helped me appreciate other tribal cultures, crafts, and art forms as well. I have developed a deep understanding and value the indigenous cultures and its heritage. And as a tribal designer, I consciously take an effort, and I have taken it upon myself to help in the preservation of these indigenous cultures. Many a time, students come to me and ask me, what is it that I will do that will put me on the right path? How do I choose the right career for myself? Let me tell you, well, you will never know if it is right or wrong, but let me tell you how you are going to feel. There will be a sense of accomplishment, a hit of dopamine even in these small things that you will do. And you are going to become a very stress-free person and a calmer person. My line of work has taken me in the direction where I am appreciative of all the different traditional cultures. And when I'm taking up this responsibility, there is a sense of accomplishment. I become calmer. I have stress. But at the end of the day, I am trying to help preserve traditional cultures. And now that's why this has become my next goal, to figure out different ways of helping preserve cultures. I can tell you very confidently that 21 years back, when I applied for NIFT, it was the right decision for me. Because today, my work has become my therapy. It is not that my work does not stress me, but I get to choose my stress. My work challenges me. It gives me problems that I enjoy solving. At the end of a very, very tiring day, I sleep peacefully. I sleep happy. Ever since I started pondering on my calling and on my passion, I always wondered what was the purpose of it all. I've always considered myself very special, and I thank my parents for that feeling. And I always knew that I would do something special in my life. So when it was time to take decision, after I completed my basic education, I took a pause. I analyzed my strengths and weaknesses. I chose my mentors and idols very carefully. I followed my passion, and till date, every step that I have taken, I try to make my parents proud of the rock-solid support that they have given me and their trust in me. And this keeps me going even in the hardest times. My journey has not been easy, but it has been very satisfying. And I look forward to more adventures in my chosen line of work. So identify your strengths. Keep exploring, ask questions. What is it that excites your soul? Choose your mentors wisely. You never know where you will find your inspiration. Can you turn your passion into a goal? Do you have what it takes to follow your passion? In a world where there are so many options, it is both a confusion and a privilege to have. And hopefully, my insightful journey in the pursuit of my passion has triggered a sense of direction in you. I am very sure that most of you have figured out your calling, but those who have not and exploring, those who are still exploring, I hope that you follow your passion. I wish you all the best. And for me, I've just started. I have managed to take my culture to many national platforms, but what I aspire is to take it to the world stage. I know it is a tough climb, but whenever I'm exhausted, whenever I pause, and whenever I'm in doubt, I look back at the advice that my idol, Dr. Kalam, has given me. Thank you, and Jahar.